What's up guys, this is Cher talking, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'll be talking about something entirely different. And Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia just announced it end of service. The game will close its doors on February 29 of 2024. And I tried to play this game in the past, it didn't catch me, but why am I talking about this? I know that I cover Romancing SaGa UniverSe in this channel, but I know a lot of people always ask, another game is getting end of service. When will this happen to Romancing SaGa UniverSe? I'm here to talk about this topic because, well, there are reasons why gacha games are closed, and many of them are related to monetary issues. If the game's not making enough money, if the cost is too high, or if there is way too much demand of the developer team. For example, we had in the past Mobius Final Fantasy that was just using their best developers and the money was not being good enough, so they closed the game. And then we got also the Final Fantasy Record Keeper case. In this case, it was a different reason why the game closed. But I'm here to discuss this all. Final Fantasy Record Keeper was closed because it was not making much money. That we all know. But it's also because of competition among itself. Well, we have another 2D sprite-based gacha game for Final Fantasy, and that one is called Brave Exvius. Brave Exvius is still running. And why is it still running? Because it makes much more money than Record Keeper, even if it is also handled by a different company, that is Gumi. Square Enix has to share the revenue. But then, I believe that as time has passed, they figured that they could not keep way too many gachas active, and people would just jump between gacha games. It's normal, it happens. So, Record Keeper community was decreasing. It's normal for all gacha games. Just like UniverSe usually to have a bigger community, it is decreasing, but not as fast as you guys think. That's also something very important. Sometimes bad decisions in a game can drop the player base by quite a lot. That happened with other games, like for example Lost Claudia. In that game, they made some bad decisions right on start that managed to drop the player base by quite a lot. I believe that there were moments in War of the Visions as well that they lost a lot of players. And, well, we are back here to talk about the problem with Square Enix games. The Dissidia case is easier to understand than you think. It's a 3D based gacha game, and they just released another one. That is Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. It probably stole part of the audience that was playing DFFOO. I know that some people play multiple gachas, but they don't usually spend into many. Sometimes they spend in just one, their main gacha game, and they play another ones. The other problem with the DFFOO game is that it was very free-to-play friendly, so people were not spending too much here. Some gacha games think about the economic in different ways. Some games want you to spend small amounts of money so that in the end, a lot of people spending small amounts of money is enough to keep the game alive. That was kind of the idea with Dissidia Opera Omnia. Now, the idea with Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis is totally different. It's a very greedy game where you need tons of money to make any difference. If you spend just a few, you're not get too stronger than a free-to-play player. So their economics is very different. They want you to purchase many different packs. Not just about getting the character, it's about getting the weapons and the upgrades. And also, a lot of the different materials are locked behind paywalls. So, in the end, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis will make much more money and is stealing part of the audience of Dissidia. And I'm not talking about the current players of Dissidia, because when you have a gacha game, you still have to promote. And Square Enix has to keep promoting Dissidia, or else it will just not get new players, and the community will just decrease further and further down the road. So they don't think it's good enough to promote Dissidia since they have Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. But that it also comes to a point that I checked this message from Square Enix Joshua on Dissidia Reddit, and it was amazing because he talks about a lot of good things here. And I know that they had a very strong community. Their live streams were very professional. They usually had 2 or 3 people there, and they even had an October live stream. And Joshua says here they already knew in advance that the game was closing, and they tried to make the October live stream as best as it could have been without disrespecting the audience, because they went to radio silence a little after that live stream because they didn't want to show that the game was in good health to just announce end of service later. So that happens. The community managers are also just working their best to keep the game alive and show content and, well, just keep everything running. So it was actually pretty hard for Joshua. I think he was a player of the game as well. When the community manager is also a fan of the game, then it's personal even. So, well, at least he was transparent. He talked about everything that happened and that the game was known to be receiving this end of service beforehand. They even say here that they may do a farewell live stream, but not so sure about that. And the game is also closing doors on JP. It looks like the new mechanics of the game released some time ago was not so popular on JP. It was better received in global, but global makes much less money than JP. Even though it's a small country compared to the global audience, they treat their gachas as their main games most of the time. They don't care about spending money if it's just having fun. Now, again, it goes back to that thing, call it FF and Saga Crisis. It's very popular on JP right now, and you can see it. I just did a research on this web page called the SimilarWeb, and it just gathered data from Google Play JP. And the top game from Square Enix right now is a Dragon Quest social media game, and then the second one is Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Of course, it's running collab with Final Fantasy IX now. It's pretty hyped. This game has some problems with his greedy, and it will probably drop a lot when it's not on collab. But then, look, we have just a little behind Romancing SaGa UniverSe, and they are starting their new anniversary, so it will probably increase in the rank. And that's why I'm making this video. Romancing SaGa UniverSe is a very, very cheap game. DFFOO had co-op, so they needed to have dedicated servers for that. They also had voice lines. They needed to pay seiyus in order to keep the voices in the game. Romancing SaGa UniverSe doesn't have any of that, so the game is much, much cheaper to sustain. And in global, it doesn't make as much money. It's not even ranked among the top 500 games. But that is maybe not a problem as you can think, because Square Enix handled the development of the game for Akatsuki. That they have a development team in Taiwan. That's the one that handles the global version. We do have Twitch live streams, and we have community managers that are from the global team, from Square Enix themselves, but they are not many. Most of the game is still handled by Akatsuki, and that's actually a good thing, because, well, they don't need to just keep talking to different companies. They make the differences, they make the global changes, they talk to themselves about how to approach the power creep, how to get closer to JP content, and they decide that and send to Square Enix for approval probably, and, well, it's not as complicated as it could have been. So there's yet another reason why we are safe with Romancing SaGa UniverSe. And that reason is, it's a constant advertisement for Saga series. The console games, we are getting Emerald Beyond in the next year. We will probably getting Saga Frontier 2 Remastered as well. And they will make advertisement for those two games inside Romancing SaGa UniverSe. And people get to know the console games as well by playing the gacha game. So it has two different reasons to exist. As a game that can make money, but even if it doesn't make direct money, they are using it to sell the brand. So you can see here on this webpage, they talk about all things Saga related, and well, this website was released, I think this year or past year, and yeah, they really want people to keep playing Saga games. And now we can go back to another thing. Square Enix wants to make money. They want to keep their brands. No. In past report, they said that they will keep making AAA games and use some of their past franchises that were dormant. Well, that's happening with Saga Emerald Beyond already. And they need to make money with their Final Fantasy games. They cannot have way too many games competing among themselves. But we don't have any other Saga Gacha for global, at least. But on JP, they have another gacha game called Imperial Saga Eclipse. But this is mostly a browser game that is very cheap to make. They even reuse art from UniverSe, for example. So in global, we don't have this game. So we don't have competition within this series. It's just Romancing SaGa UniverSe presenting all characters from the game. That's not what happens with Final Fantasy. In Final Fantasy, we have Brave Exvius, we have now Ever Crisis, we have War of the Visions. So there's no much place for too many Final Fantasy gacha games to operate on the same time. Hence why the DFFOO got cut. And at least for now, I have to say that we are safe with Romancing SaGa UniverSe because 2024, it's a good year for us. We will have at least Emerald Beyond. We may get Saga Frontier 2 Remaster as well, and they will use those games as advertisement inside UniverSe. That's not to say that we are safe forever. Eventually, all gacha games die. They are games of service, and they don't last forever. But don't worry, if I see some signs of the game getting close to end of service announcement, you usually see those things beforehand. How the company is handling updates, new content, and sometimes the community, management. But if I do see some signs, I'll tell you. But right now we are getting the new version of the game. That's a big update, and if they were thinking about end of service, they would not be doing this. So stay good, have fun with Romancing SaGa UniverSe, and I see you later on the next video or live stream. But before you leave, tell me here on the comment section what you think about this all. I really want to know your thoughts on the topic.